This game has been out for years, and yet for some odd reason people still do not understand how air superiority really works. I've seen a lot of major Hearts of Iron 4 YouTubers making video on how it's quote supposed to work, but somehow many of them still continuously keep getting it wrong. This video will hopefully give some insight on how air superiority really works and debunk some of the questions people still have regarding how it works. Also, I want to thank my one and only Patreon YouTube hero for supporting the channel. Now on to the video. People don't realize it, but air superiority pretty much gives you 5 major advantages over the enemy, which is absolutely overpowered and insane. The first one, it gives the enemy's land units a penalty to their defense and breakthrough. I forget what the actual number is, but I think around 20% of a penalty is added if I remember correctly, which is huge if you're fighting somewhere in the mountains, hills, or something like that, especially against or with tanks. Now for number 2, if people didn't realize, air superiority will allow you to deploy CAS, like tactical bombers and just regular dive bombers, to a region without the risk of being shot down, which, if you didn't know, is incredibly high if you actually lack the air superiority in the region and your enemy has it. For instance, an example here, we have a bunch of tactical bombers the enemy is using, and we're just going to go ahead and put up all of our fighters, put them on intercept, and watch this. Okay, well, because the AI can actually multitask, well, you saw what it just did. But, okay, now it's back. I hate when the AI can do this so quickly. I mean, you can't really fight the AI. It drives me nuts. Okay, now that I have given myself almost, well, actually, a little bit over 100,000 fighters, and I have pretty much all the airfields in Germany maxed out, I can pretty much show you guys this now. So, if we go over here, okay, not over there. Oh, the AI is so good at multitasking. This is ridiculous. Oh, no, here we go. Perfect example. Okay, so what I was trying to explain is with CAS and tactical bombers, if you have them in a region where there's not air superiority, they have a much higher risk of actually being shot down. Now, if you look here, enemy bombers lost is already 1, and we've been barely playing for a day. I mean, you can see how quickly our fighters are taking out his bombers, and the AI pulled them out after a few days. Of course, we did lose some fighters that were going up against bombers, but still, as you can tell, and they were all accidents, so we didn't actually lose any technically to combat. This is actually according to the wiki for Hearts of Iron. I have not really seen this, but the Wikipedia says this happens all the time. If you are bombing an enemy country or area of supply, something along those lines, if you're bombing an enemy under close air support and you have air superiority, you will actually surprisingly be, it doesn't show it, but you'll be disrupting their supplies. Now what this will mean, arrest anyone found evading the draft. That's what Hitler would have done. So what ends up happening is if you go and begin doing that, if you, like I said, just start bombing the area, even CAS, if you have air superiority, they will eventually start running out of supply, which is absolutely mind-boggling to me and seems totally unfair, but hey, what you gonna do, it's still pretty cool. Now, the final thing that people don't realize by any means, you can have a ridiculous number of bombers. I mean ridiculous, okay? And here, for our example, we're gonna have 1,000 bombers, okay? Without air superiority, your bombers will get, quote, intercepted. So if you don't have air superiority and you have too many enemy fighters and not enough of your own, what will end up happening is they won't do the mission. They'll just do their base bombing and then they'll flee. So I'm going to go and show you guys an example. We're going to begin strategic bombing. This was from earlier. Let me go. I'm not going to go to years, but you'll see. So this is from the earlier part of the video when I was covering the mission efficiency. So as you can tell, we started bombing some buildings kind of off the bat. We're still bombing them, but they just popped in a lot of fighters, and now we're barely bombing anything, and actually it's going down each day. That's because we're no longer bombing anything, and our bombers are being disrupted by the enemy fighters, which means, well, we don't have any bombers doing anything. I mean, it plainly says right here, all 100% of the planes are getting disrupted. Now, if you put fighters there, from my experience, it's kind of a 50-50 shot if this will work or not, but just grabbing all of my can. If you get air superiority, your bombers go from 100% to, see, it begins lowering itself, not by a ridiculous amount, because we don't have a crazy number of better fighters, it's kind of evenly matched. Our bombers will continuously bomb, and we're not getting such a crazy penalty. So right now, it says only 5% of our bombers are getting through, but if we had you know, strap bombers or something along those lines, it would be doing way more better. And now, as you can see, it's lowering, so now 16% of our bombers are getting through, and it's going back up. It kind of varies. Now almost 30% of our bombers are getting through. But as long as you have planes in the area and you have air superiority, more of your bombers can get through. So guys, that was 5 major advantages air superiority gives you in Hearts of Iron 4, and for a long time people always assumed that just having air superiority just meant simply they can't paradrop you and they can't tactical bomb you. Not a lot of people realize there were all these different penalties and bonuses to actually gaining or losing air superiority. Again, the 5 big ones in case you didn't understand. 1, it gives the enemy land units a penalty of 20% to defense and breakthrough. 2, it will actually allow you to deploy air support into regions without being such a high risk of being shot down if you have the air superiority. It lowers the mission efficiency, so if you have air superiority, the enemy, you know, can't do as much damage to your ground targets. I don't think I actually covered that one, but in case I didn't, if you have air superiority, they receive pretty much no damage. You saw that with the tactical bombers. According to the wiki, it will start causing supply issues. And 5, the last one, without air superiority, your bomber, or without air superiority, I misspoke, your bombers will get intercepted, and then you won't be able to actually bomb anything. Guys, thank you so much for watching. Hopefully you enjoyed this video. If you did, please do not forget to leave a like and a comment down below, and subscribe. It's helped my channel out tremendously. And if you know anybody who's looking for Hearts of Iron tips, share my content with them, and hopefully they'll be as good as you one day. Thank you for watching. I'll see you guys next time. Stay awesome.